absorbing that condition ourselves. We'll begin to absorb the emotion of the justification of violence. If the condition is one of fear in our environment, then we will begin internally to absorb the fear itself. If the condition is a condition of love, we will also absorb that. It depends on what the condition is as to what we will absorb. We are very much defined by two things. One is our personality, our nature, and the other one is what happens to us. Our environment is a great part of what happens to us. And eventually, as we grow, though, eventually what we decide to do is a great part of what happens to us. So, but before the age of 7, before the age that the intellect is actually fully developed and the brain is fully developed and the physical body has now developed into some semblance of order, before that age, we are very much under the control and influence of our environment. And for the majority of us, we live with two people primarily, our mother and our father, so we are very much under the influence of their particular perceptions. If their perception of God is that God is a wrathful, unjust, unloving God who is willing to punish and destroy the wicked, then I will probably absorb that perception. Now, if our parents' perception of God is that, then they will also accept that punishing us violently as a child is also acceptable. So under certain circumstances, our parents will justify violence towards us by saying that God justifies violence towards his children. Now, in that perception, what the parent finishes up doing is teaching the child this very big distortion, and the distortion is this, that love involves violence. And they'll often say, even to their child while they're punishing them, I am doing this because I love you. I've actually had that said to me while I'm being punished, and I've seen many parents do the same with their children. So while they're actually being have physical violence perpetrated towards a child, remember this child cannot avoid it because it doesn't have the power to avoid it. This child is being taught two basic unloving principles. Firstly, that God is an unloving, violent God. And secondly, that the parents, who seem to the child to be completely unloving in that violent act, are telling them that violence is love. They're telling them that you can sometimes love somebody by being violent towards them. Now, once you accept this as a child, there are so many things that you will begin to accept. You will begin to accept violence in your environment, and you'll accept under certain circumstances that violence is an act of love. You will also begin to accept violence towards yourself. So you'll obviously not have a good sense of your own worth. When somebody treats you badly, you say, oh,